Good Mommin Monday. You're here at the Mistaken Mama podcast. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Mandee.
And we are your hosts.
This week we are going to be talking about beauty standards. I think more focus on like what we want for our daughters and maybe what it was like growing up for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's the gist of what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I was like, am I leaving anything out? But no, I'm not.
No, I don't
okay.
think so.
Wins Fails Books.
Wins Fails Books. So if you remember from last week, we had a storm that was supposed to come.
Oh, yes.
And we told you that we would let you know if we lost power. We did not.
We did not.
So we're good.
My parents flickered off and on for like an hour or so, but they didn't actually lose it for any significant amount of time.
Yeah. So, I mean, win, we didn't lose power. Fail, however. My husband attempted to go into work one of the days and ended up in the ditch and waited like, I think it was 2.5 hours for a tow truck. They ended up not calling until after he had already gotten home.
Oh my gosh.
And it wasn't even the tow truck that called. It was our insurance. That was like, they still haven't responded, but we'll send somebody out to you. And he was like, I got home already. Some Australian man helped me get out of the ditch. Which I guess a bunch of people had like stopped to try to help him. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a big ditch, but it was enough that he couldn't get himself out.
Right.
And the ditch was filled with water, so he couldn't even try to stand in the ditch to try to
push it up.
Yeah, so he couldn't. But I guess a lot of people stopped and were like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And is there anything I can do to help? And he's like, nope, I'm just waiting for a tow truck. And then some Australian he said he was Australian. Could have been New Zealand. I don't know.
Right.
They all kind of have a very similar accent. It's hard for me to tell the difference specifically.
Yeah.
But I guess some Australian man with a truck was like, I'll help you out, and pulled him out. And then he came home and he did have chains.
Did you have them on?
Yeah.
Oh.
Had them on and everything.
Just lost traction.
It was just there. Even the chains weren't enough. And it wasn't even like, bad. It wasn't a sock and it wasn't like the cables. It was like the second best chains that he can get for his truck.
Yeah.
And
just wasn't enough.
It just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Yep. But it was also like a sheet of ice and this was a back road. So.
Oh yeah. It was pretty bad.
Add insult to injury. While he was stuck, the trucks that drop sand, dirt, whatever, came by.
Of course they did. And
then add even more insult to injury. Now that the 5 days worth of crappy weather, give or take, is now over, his job is now handing out ice scrapers for everybody.
So if we have another one, y'all are prepared.
Yeah, everybody saw that on the piece of paper because, like, he gets what's called a tissue issue, like, every 3 months or whatever, where we get to take home a certain amount of bundles just for free, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Because free toilet paper and paper towels, excuse me, yes, please. Awesome. And on the tissue issue paper, it said, see the back of this page to get your free ice scraper. And he was like, excuse me? It has been 3 days now that storm has been gone and you're just now giving us ice scrapers, and it's got the logo on it and everything, so like they thought this through.
Oh man.
And they were like, we're gonna give it to you a week late.
They thought it through during the storm.
Yes.
And then mass produced.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I just thought
that is funny,
really funny.
That's like, I saw a lady on not TikTok, on Facebook, who, it was the last day of the ice, like when it was mostly melted. And she posted a link to these things that you can hook onto your shoes that make them like snowshoes, essentially.
Oh,
Get the little spikes on them. And she's like, I just wanted to put this out there for anybody, And she's like, now I'm realizing, this would be for next time. But
yep.
And everybody was like, yeah, if I ordered that right now, it still wouldn't be here when I need it.
No.
But I was like, hey, that's kind of a good idea for next time.
For next year.
Because I cannot walk on the ice to save my life.
Yeah.
We didn't really go anywhere. We went, let's see, the day before it started melting, I think. No. I don't remember, one of the days that we were getting towards the end, but it was still there. My mom was like, I want to take Maverick bowling because my dad didn't have to work. Brady didn't have to go to school and everything. And so she came in and she said she had to go like 20 miles per hour because she was like turning sideways. But that was the time that I was walking out on the ice, and I cannot walk on the ice to save my life. Michael was a pro up until he went to take Gaz for a walk, and Gaz ran into the front yard. Well, it's still icy in the front yard. Like, it was still a sheet of ice on our grass. And he ran out to grab him and slipped and ate it on his back.
Ooh.
That's already
and he's been
having
up. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's still feeling the pain of that. Which I guess that could be my fail, because it could also kind of be my win, because it was really funny. But I'll ask him if we can insert it in here, because my camera did. And it was hard. He hit his head so hard. And he came in. I didn't know this happened. He came inside and he's like, I just fell on the ice. And I was like, oh no. And then of course he's mad because he fell. And he's like, I'm still taking him for a walk. And I was like, you just fell. And he's like, I'm still taking him. And I was like, okay. And he's like, and the camera probably caught it all. And I was like, I'm gonna go look.
I'm gonna take a look at this.
And I looked, and sure enough, the whole thing start to finish.
Oh, Michael, please let us insert it if he says that we can. Here it is.
Here's that.
If he didn't,
have a good laugh.
You don't get anything.
Oh man, yeah, that was golden.
That is so funny. Yeah, that's what I love having indoor cameras and stuff, because we get to catch the best shit.
Yep.
Yeah, we only have like 2 outdoor cameras that face just like right at our porch area, because we are in an apartment, so we don't get to like look out into like the general area.
Yeah.
But we've caught some funny things.
Yeah. Michael doesn't like the idea of having cameras in the house. I kind of want a few in the house. More so, honestly, I don't think people realize how insane my cats are. And I would love to post some crazy cat moments. My cats are insane, especially this new one. He like will get the zippies around the house and go psycho, and he's just like panting, like looking around, and I'm like, you are crazy.
I love things like that.
Oh.
And one of the things I love about having indoor cameras is when the kids fall and get hurt or something.
Yeah.
I have proof right then and there that I didn't abuse my kids if I have to take them to the hospital or something. Because I see people talking about it all the time, where they'll be like, I took my kid to the hospital because of XYZ, and then they got taken away for a year, and I only just now got them back because they accused me of whatever. And so every single time that I've had to take the kids to the hospital, like when Damon cracked open his whatever, because our house has metal framing, and so on the corners are capped metal with like the smallest amount of drywall.
That's kind of how like ours are on some parts, not all parts in our house. Our house is built weird.
Yeah, and he smacked his forehead on because he wasn't fucking paying attention. Slipped on a book that was on the floor and just right into the corner. And I was able to show the doctor, because they were like, how did this happen?
Yeah,
because I mean, it kind of looked like he had been smacked with something, and I was like, I have a video.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, it's a good thing you have this video.
What is that supposed to mean?
That was very accusatory, but okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's how I felt when I took Maverick, and when he cracked his head on the corner in the kitchen. The nurse was totally like, oh yeah, kids, blah, blah, blah. And then the doctor came in and he was like, so explain this again. He was on a chair and and I was like, yes, he fell off the chair. And Maverick's like, I fell off the chair. And I'm like, thank you, buddy.
Yep. The other thing I don't like about having indoor cameras is like if I'm like going to the bathroom or something, I can't physically be in the room, and then my kid like gets on a table or something and falls off, and then it's like, now I look negligent, but I was pooping. What do you want me to do?
Right. Here, I'll show you the video of me walking into the bathroom.
Yep. Look at the timestamp. I went into the bathroom. You can hear me yell, get off the table. Like, yes. I tried. I did the best I could.
Yep. I think they would catch some funny things for sure.
Oh yeah, I catch my kids being crazy.
Oh, it's my dad who's texting me. Sorry, my phone was buzzing at my feet.
Oh, I didn't even hear it. So those are our wins and fails.
Yeah. Yeah. Books.
I finished the Twilight series.
Nice.
It's all done and whatever. Now I'm kind of just focused on reading some of my doula books.
Oh yeah.
For the certification and stuff. So I'm probably going to be not reading normal books for a little bit because I need to focus on this to try to get my certifications done. But yeah.
Nice.
Some of the ones that I did recently read were Placenta Wit, Dancing with Midwives, Witches, Midwives, and Nurses. It Starts with the Egg, and a few other ones that are slipping my mind. Placenta, the Forgotten Chakra.
Oh, okay.
That one. Yeah,
Nice.
That's another one that I've read recently. Yeah.
Nice.
Those are just a few. I have so many that I have to be reading and doing assignments and stuff for, so.
Sorry, it was a little high, I realized.
It's all good. What about you?
I finished the first A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I'm almost halfway done with the second one.
Ooh, look at you just zooming by.
I've been reading. Well, that Ice Storm. I also finished Gilmore Girls was the show that I was watching. Oh, okay. And I finished that.
Me and my mom were just talking about that. She's like, you need to watch it. I'm like, I know. Mandee keeps harping on me about it.
Yes, you do. I kind of restarted Grey's Anatomy, but you know when you end a show and then you try to start another show and it almost takes you like a couple weeks to get actually into it. Mm-hmm. So I'm not really super into it. And so with my free time, I've just been reading instead. And I'm like, oh, this is nice.
For some reason, the thing that gets me about restarting Grey's Anatomy is for whatever reason, it was mostly in the earlier seasons, but it happens in like all of them, is the way Meredith walks. The super intense side to side.
Yes. Like she's pregnant.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not trying to like make fun of her or anything.
Right,
it's
right,
just so noticeable, especially in the early seasons, that it throws me. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure she walks like that in real life, doesn't she?
I think so.
So it's like...
Yeah, I know what you mean. I love the early seasons, though.
Oh, me too.
It's up until, like, for serious, almost stopped watching, was up until, like, the COVID season.
Okay, yeah.
And then the filming's different. I'm a huge, like, I notice when the filming's different in a show. Mm-hmm. And if you switch from season to season, like, I can't. I get that you have to evolve with the times and whatever, but it looks so dumb now. I hate how it's filmed. It's filmed like a rom-com or something. Like, I don't like it.
Yeah. I haven't watched any of the newer seasons because I just, like, I'm over it once everybody left.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is, like, I think Meredith leaves now, I heard.
I've heard that, too. I've only watched up until, I think it was, like, during the COVID season.
Yeah.
I don't think I watched it beyond that because she was, like, in a coma for fucking forever.
Right.
Having those, like, beach scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I will say, I did like that they brought O'Malley back.
Right.
He was, like, my favorite.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. O'Malley and Derek came back and talked to her. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
I guess I can get behind this a little bit.
But
and then I think she woke up and then I haven't really watched since then.
And it almost made me feel like that should have been, like, the end of the whole show.
Right?
Like, why you keep going?
And now it's all the new doctors and, like,
yeah.
I think the only original people that are still there in the, like, new seasons are Weber and Bailey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I heard that I think Bailey is leaving too.
What? How is that even Grey's Anatomy anymore?
Yeah, they just gotta stop. I think they're trying to make it almost like what are those shows called? Like the soap opera shows where they literally go on for forever. Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, like those ones. And I'm like, no.
It's literally called Grey's Anatomy, though, because the main character is Meredith Grey. So how can you get rid of the main character and still be like, this is still Grey's Anatomy because we named the hospital Grey Sloan.
Yeah.
So it's still Grey's, and it's like
I almost would have preferred if they would have stopped it and then done like a spinoff with like her kids raised up.
See, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, they still probably they would have messed it up, but
yeah.
I think it would have been better than just prolonging this.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Let's get into beauty standards.
Into the episode.
Into the actual part of the episode.
That was a rambly beginning.
That was. So, beauty standards. They obviously change so much over sometimes even very short periods of time. Mm-hmm. Like, we go from beauty standards being super mature to being more super youthful. It's better to be curvy. It's better to be skinny. It's better to be pale. It's better to be darker. Like, we go through so many things. It's better to have blocky eyebrows. It's better to have pretty much no eyebrows.
Yeah.
Like, winged eyeliner out to your temple or none at all, you know.
Natural makeup versus like super heavy caked on makeup.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Like, beauty standards change so much over time. So it's like thinking about what it's going to be like when our kids are older, because you and I both have daughters. As of right now, I have 2 of them. As of right now, you have 1 of them.
Yes.
Why does that sound weird when I say it like that? One of them. One of the daughters. I don't know.
It works.
My oldest is 6, and then both of our daughters are 1.
Yeah.
1.5, 1, depending. Yeah. So thinking about what the beauty standards are going to be I guess.
For Anna, like 12 years.
Well, no, because she'll be 16 in 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
And I was wearing makeup and getting into what was in trend well before that.
Yeah, I would say middle school is when it really started.
Yeah. I would say she's probably going to be at least interested in what the beauty standards are by at latest 13.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Yeah.
Probably sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 7 years away.
Yeah.
And it's like, how much is things going to change in 10 years? Mm-hmm. Because like when I look back 10 years from, let's see, how old am I? When I was 15, so when I first met Thomas, they've changed, but honestly not that much as far as makeup goes.
Yeah.
Body standards and overall general beauty standards, I think, are wildly different.
And clothing, I feel like, has changed quite a bit.
Oh, honey, we're back in like the 90s.
Yeah.
Which
is fine.
I'm digging it.
Yeah.
I like the kind of looser pants, not skinny jeans. Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Yeah.
Although some of it's like questionable to me.
Right.
But man, thinking about what it could be like in 10 years, it's kind of crazy to think about.
And I wonder if it'll be any different too, because we've talked on here that the kids, at least currently, aren't going to public school.
Yes.
And so will it be different? Will they be influenced different without having that, going to school every day, seeing what their friends are wearing and doing and stuff like that? Like, how will that be for them too?
Yeah, especially because the beauty trends that happen in school are not necessarily the beauty trends that are happening in the real world.
Right.
Like I can remember, or I guess it happened a bit, was the bump right at the very front of your head.
Oh, yes.
That was like huge in my middle school.
Oh, same.
It was ridiculous. But I honestly don't really remember a bunch of like celebrities doing it. Not at the time that it was happening with my school.
Yeah.
Like that seemed to be more early 2000s. But then it was hitting my middle school. In whatever year that was. When was I in middle school? I graduated in 2016. So you can minus, it's 2012, I guess, was when I left middle school.
So like
2010
to 2012.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember the bump being such a big thing in that time.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
I feel like things also kind of happen that way where they're super popular for, celebrities or models or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then it takes a few, sometimes years to get it to the actual general public.
Yeah.
And I think it's happening quicker now because of how much social media has it's out of this world now.
That's going to be a big factor too.
Yeah.
Because like social media, the most we really had when I was in middle school was like Instagram and then Facebook. But I mean, nobody's talking about trends on Facebook.
Yeah.
It was MySpace there for a bit.
I was going to say mine started MySpace and then I went to Facebook and I didn't even get an Instagram until I was in high school.
See, I had an Instagram back in middle school.
Yeah. I think it was going into my freshman year. And it wasn't because, I mean, obviously I could have social media.
Which would make sense how you and I got them at the same time then.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Because Instagram, when new apps pop up and everybody's like, that's never going to take off.
And then it does.
That's kind of how it was for Instagram. Everybody was getting them and I was like, oh, this is so annoying. Then I was like, well, I guess I'll get one. And then I was like, oh, I kind of like it.
Yep. Exactly. And then there was like Vine, and now it's TikTok, and
or it was Musically or whatever.
Oh, right.
For
It was
a little
Musically. Then it was Vine.
Musically.
Musically.
Okay.
Musically. Yeah.
Musically. Okay.
Was it Vine and then Musically and then TikTok?
Think so.
Y'all know what we're trying to say. It was that whole evolution thing with like the super short 15 to 30 second videos, give or take.
Yeah.
I think it was mostly like 15 seconds until now TikTok is like, we're going to have 30-minute long videos. Like, stop.
Just go onto YouTube.
Literally.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then trends come and go so quickly on like the what's the term I'm thinking of? Quick content.
Oh, like
sites.
Short form.
Short form, yes.
Yeah. Like shorts and reels and TikToks and
content comes and goes so fast
so
in
quickly.
platforms like that.
That's why I have no idea like what it's like you were saying, like what it's going to be like for our kids. I did have a question for you though. What are yours and Thomas's thoughts about like makeup, clothing, like style, I guess, for your kid? Like, are you just open to whatever they want to do? Do you have limitations on things that they can wear and do? Or do you know?
So as far as like when I think I'll allow my kids to wear makeup, like on like the rarest occasions I'll put some on Anna, usually just as like play, like so for when she did her ballet recital when it's Halloween, and then like on rare occasions at home just for funsies. If she sees me doing mine, sometimes I'll put a little bit on her just to be fun.
Yeah.
But as far as like when I'm going to be allowing her to do her makeup, I'm probably going to want her to go into it slowly, like maybe starting with like, well, why don't you just try a little bit of lipstick or blush or something, and kind of work your way into it, a tinted moisturizer, something like that, versus just delving into the full face everything. And I'll probably allow her to start doing that at maybe around 13 or so. I really do want to teach her about her natural beauty and that she doesn't need those things.
Right.
Because despite my mom always telling me that I was a very pretty person, I still felt prettier with makeup.
Right.
And it wasn't until I was an adult and I stopped wearing it as much because I became a mom and I didn't really have time to be doing my makeup all the time.
Yeah.
And I started to really love who I am as a person. Granted, I wear makeup for the podcast.
Right, same.
But that is mostly because if I don't, you won't be able to see my nose, my lips, my eyes, or my eyebrows.
Yeah.
Like, so I do makeup just enough that you can see my face.
Right.
Because if I don't, I'll be pasty. You can go back and watch our...
I was gonna say, we have an episode where we don't have anything on.
And you can see what I mean. Like, my eyes have no definition. It's hard to see me because I'm the paler of the two of us.
Right. Except I look really pale today.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know either. The sun's been gone. That's what I'll blame it on.
Yes, fair. But yeah, so we put makeup on to be seen by the camera.
Right.
And then on occasion I'll wear makeup out. But for the most part, like if I'm going to the store, I'm not wearing makeup. And I want the kids to know that they are beautiful without it.
Yeah.
And I think I do a good job with that because I don't ever talk about like not liking the way that I look.
Same.
I'm very positive about the way that I look and discussing those things while still having a healthy mindset regarding it. It's like along with beauty standards, we've talked about a little bit about the fat positivity movement a little bit.
Yeah.
And how that can become unhealthy. And that there's limits to those things.
Yeah.
And so obviously talking to my children about like, your body is beautiful, we should be taking care of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're allowed to love it, even if there's things about yourself that like, you know, in a perfect world I'd change it, but
right.
I'm going to love myself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so probably around 13 she can start kind of working her way into it as something that is just fun for her to do versus as a necessity.
Right.
That's what I would prefer.
Right.
As far as clothing goes, that's the part that I'm like, I don't know, because trends can be,
Right.
where 12-year-olds are dressing like 21-year-olds and stuff, and wearing crop tops and thongs and whatever. And so I'm like, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be super big into her following the trend aspect of things. I would prefer her to just like what she's wearing because she likes it.
Right.
Versus following a trend.
Yeah. I kind of, on the clothes side of it, I think it's fine once you are a consenting adult to wear whatever you want to wear, and, you know, that's on you. And if you look a little hoochie today, then, you know, whatever, that's on you. If you love it, go for it. I don't care. But as a child, I really think that we should be, or I'll speak for myself. I should be really monitoring like what they're wearing. You know, I don't necessarily want my daughter going out there and showing off all of her assets.
Yeah.
I do think that modesty is like important in kids. You know, and there were times when I was under the age of 18 where I wasn't dressing like super modestly.
Yeah.
You know, and looking back on it, it gives me a bad taste in my mouth whenever I see pictures of myself like that. You know, I'm just like, ooh, did I really need to do that?
Yeah. I remember it would have been before I met Thomas. And I met him when I was 15. Okay. I remember there was a stage where I was wearing 2 bras.
Yeah.
To just get them girls up there. And it's like, I mean, now I've got the consequences of that because the universe was like, you want big boobs? Fine, have double Fs. Go. Enjoy your 32 double Fs, ma'am.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
enjoy your back pain.
Should have just accepted the fact that I was a C because I would prefer those now.
Right. Yeah. No, I was the same way. Or like most of my friends, myself included, you would wear like 3 of those camisole like tank tops underneath so that your boobs were tight and like you had the cleavage. And it's just, I don't know what's going to happen. And of course, you know, kids get into their mindset of what they're going to do and they're going to do it. But I can hope that I can put it into my daughter's head, like you were saying, that, you know, love your body for what it is, love your skin for what it is, and just you don't need to look like anybody else.
Yeah. I think right now, too, we live in a very plastic surgery heavy society.
Yeah.
Where so many celebrities are getting plastic surgery. And I saw a video by Amala Ekpenobi. Oh my God. I say her last name.
I was going to say, don't ask me to say her last name because I will botch it.
It's Nigerian, so I'm probably botching that, but I'm pretty sure Ekpenobi.
Okay.
I think that's right. I've heard her say it, and I'm
going to take your word for it because I'm not even going to attempt.
Yeah, Amala, if I said it wrong, I'm sorry. But I saw her make a video about it where she was talking about how everybody's starting to look the same. Yes. You know, you can find, you know, there's also like the buccal fat removal that like everybody and their mother is doing. You know, they're all getting the exact same nose, like they're all getting lip plumpers, and it's like everybody is starting to look so similar and like not even looking like themselves, to the point where, one, that's teaching young children and those emerging into the beauty world that your natural beauty is not good enough.
You need to change it to look like this.
Yeah.
Because now there's a very big example of what you should look like, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, the Brazilian butt lifts, even getting ribs removed to have more curves, like that is what our beauty standards in the beauty world look like. And that teaches our kids that they are not beautiful. And so us as parents are having to work around that and be like, well, you are beautiful.
Right. And I think that, I mean, there always, like you said in the beginning, will be changes in what beauty standards are presented. And I think a lot of times they can be dangerous. Yeah. Like when I was growing up, it was, you need to be skinny no matter what. You need to be skinny.
Yes, same.
And so a lot of people I knew like had eating disorders, and, you know, they wouldn't take care of themselves. They would starve themselves. I know so many of my friends would be like, I'm not eating lunch today because I gained 2 pounds yesterday, or something like that along those lines, you know? Yeah. And
I'm guilty of that.
We are in middle school. We are in high school. Like, we are so young. even I think sometimes, well, no, I didn't really hear it that much in grade school, maybe like 5th grade, but most of the time it was middle school. And it's just like, we are so young. Why are we so concerned about this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I hate that it's pushed. I wish that we didn't even really care about what we look like at all. You know, as long as we were healthy and whatever.
And we could just be happy in who we are.
Yeah. Because thinking about my daughter in middle school, let's say she's going to a public school, sitting at a table with her friends being like, we're not going to eat lunch today because we want to be skinny. Or, you know, I'm going to go sneak this newest thing so my mom doesn't know because I need to look like this.
Yeah.
You know, that makes me sad that, you know, I mean, makes me sad thinking back to my younger self about like what me and my friends felt like we had to do. And it makes me even sadder to think of my daughter ever doing that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it's hard because, you know, as parents, we just want what's best for them.
Mm-hmm.
We just want them to be happy and healthy and love themselves. And we now live in a world where who you are is not good enough.
Yeah.
There are so many influencers out there that are like, you need this to be beautiful. You need this, whatever. But then in the same breath, they're screaming body positivity.
Mm-hmm.
But they're saying that like, this is body positivity. Changing yourself is
Changing
body
yourself
positivity.
to love yourself is body positivity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And I don't want to tell my daughter that, you know, no, you can never wear makeup. No, you can never wear a short dress. No, you like, I don't want to make it so anti or against or whatever you want to call it to where she sneaks those things around.
Yeah.
Because I also remember what it was like to be a kid. I know that if your parents tell you no and you truly want to do it, you're going to find a way to do it.
Yep. Strict parents create sneaky kids.
Yeah. And so I
100%.
want to leave that open, you know, if I notice that she's maybe having a harder time accepting who she is, or I notice that maybe she's trying to dress a certain way or do makeup a certain way, like I would rather, I know this is easier said than done sometimes, but I would rather, you know, be able to come to her and be like, hey, what would make you feel better about yourself? Like, what's going on, you know, and try to get to the root of it. And maybe it's like, you know, like I've mentioned before, I had really bad acne as a kid. So maybe if my daughter has really bad acne, maybe we can go down a route that helps her out. You know what I mean? Not birth control.
Yeah. That's a different video.
Yeah. But I hope that I can get down to the root of it. And it's not that, oh, she wants to layer on like a tub of makeup, or the new trend that's going around is kids putting like retinols on their skin.
I saw that.
As like 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds putting retinol on
it's
their
like,
skin.
oh my God, you are like, yeah, it might be working right now, but when you're 25, you're going to look 60.
Yeah. Oh man. It's just like, I think that TikTok is a big detriment to kids, and maybe this is another topic that we can talk about, but you know, I don't even plan on having my kids have any kind of social media until they're in high school, maybe past.
Even YouTube kids
Yeah.
is a problem. There is so much propaganda for everything. Like any topic you can think of, there is propaganda for it.
Yeah.
The toxic side of fat positivity, the whole gender movement, the plastic surgery. Whoops.
Yeah.
Sorry. Being an influencer, all of those things, and like and not just like, oh, if this is something you're interested in, you know, here are some resources. No, it's like that you need to be this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's shoved down your throat.
It is. And it's on YouTube Kids. And YouTube Kids is designed for like 6 through 12.
Right.
And it's like, I just wanted to put on Miss Rachel.
Right. Well, and it's like, I heard a thing that was like, if you want your kids' childhood to end, give them a social media or something like that.
Yep.
And I do see that, because I find myself when I'm like toxic social media scrolling, I will read things and see things and be like, oh, I need to be doing this. Oh, I need to be doing this. Oh, I should be doing this. Why didn't I do this? I need to work on this. And like, it puts so much pressure on you. And it's unrealistic to be able to do all of those things.
Yeah. I forgot who said it, but I was watching a video and they were talking about how if you have the slightest bit of insecurity around a certain subject, then any piece of information regarding it will influence you.
Oh, yeah. I believe that 100%.
Like, if you're just like, oh my God, my hairline is just driving me nuts today. And then you see a video talking about how, oh, if you get, plugs just right there, then it'll like save your life. And whatever. And be like, oh,
that's what I need.
I need it. I need to save $5,000 so I can get an inch of my hairline plugged. Mm-hmm. But then it's like.
Yeah. Well, speaking back on my acne growing up, I was like that. I was very self-conscious about having acne because a lot of my friends did not. And so anytime an ad would pop up or a commercial on TV for like this new thing that will make your face like amazing, I would want, and I would beg my mom for it. And my mom, she just wanted to help me make me feel better about that skin issue. She had it really bad as a kid. And so she would buy me a lot of these things, and I'm sure half of them probably weren't good for my skin at all.
Probably not.
And, putting heavy chemicals when you're a young kid. But it's also hard because you don't want your kid to be, acne's a hard one.
Honestly, all of this is a hard one.
I mean, it's all a hard one, yeah.
But yeah, acne especially.
Yeah, and so it's just hard. I don't want my kids to be on all these apps that are pushing like a bunch of things that they don't need. Like, just be you. And I know that's hard because I was also told not to have a social media when I was younger, and I found a way around it. And I know it's even easier today to do that. But I'm going to try to take every step that I can to ensure that not that they're like shielded from it, because I do want to still have that open communication of like, this is what's going on in the world. Like, it's not okay. Because I think if you just don't talk about it at all, you create that curiosity, and then they're going to seek it out.
Yeah. And it's like, how do you teach about that? Right. Like, part of me wants to, when my kid's a little bit older, because right now she's too young, she doesn't need social media anyways. And I'm meaning my daughter Anna, because she's old enough for me to be starting to worry about these things. Mm-hmm. But when she's a little bit older, and then same for any other child, boys included. Right. Because they can be equally as influenced. Mm-hmm. It's just different influences and whatever. But I feel like it gears towards girls a lot. Mm-hmm. And so when she's older, it's like, how do I explain that not everything you see on social media is correct? Like, do I show her videos or content showing two opposing sides and being like, this is why, just because you see it doesn't mean it's true, because here's one person having one opinion and here's a different person having the exact opposite opinion. Right. You know, if you see both of these videos, how do you know what to go with? And it's like, you can't just go off of these videos. Right. You need to be a free thinker. But how do you teach to be a free thinker?
Right. I think just, presenting everything and they're going to form their own opinions. Yeah. And I remember growing up as a teenager, a lot of times, when your parent tells you something, you're like, absolutely not. You're not cool enough to even know anything, And as much as I will hope that we are still the cool parents, not like cool as in like we're letting our kids do drugs and drink and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to be Regina George's mom.
Yeah, no.
Not that kind of cool mom.
No, but just like, you got to watch Gilmore Girls.
I know. That's
the comparison of like cool mom, where like she feels open to talk to her mom about everything and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I hope for.
That's what I really hope for. And it's hard because, like I said, I could present, hey, this is kind of like not the right way of thinking, because you are beautiful and you don't need to have all these extra things. And I could see a teenage mind being like, you know nothing, mom.
And being like, you're my mom, you have to think that. And it's like,
yeah.
Well, but
I
been
don't.
in your shoes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't have to think you're beautiful. When you were born, you were an ugly ass potato. Like, I'm probably not ever going to say that to my kid.
No, I know what you mean.
It's funny. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's okay to be honest too.
Right.
And I think it'd be a good thing to like sit down with your kid and be like, look, you want to talk about all the things you don't like? Fine. I don't like that I have stretch marks. I don't like that my boobs hang down to my belly button. I don't like that I have really thin hair. I don't like this hairline. I don't like blah, 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 blah. And just list off all of the things. Be like, but at the end of the day,
these are the things I love about myself. And like,
all of these things that I just listed off to you, like my belly and my boobs, those things, it's from having you guys. And you guys have made me beautiful.
Right.
My hairline, when I was a kid, I cut my hair off and it never grew back. So it's a funny memory to me now.
Yeah.
You know, I used to get made fun of because I have freckles, and then it became a trend, and now it's not a trend anymore.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like I want to be able to have that open dialogue with my kids and be like, it's okay to not be happy about every single aspect, because we are very complex humans with complex ways of thinking.
Yeah.
It's impossible to love every single thing.
Totally.
But if you love yourself as a whole, then those little things, you know, even if they're relatively big things, like let's say you absolutely hate the shape of your body. But if you learn to love your body overall and you take care of yourself and you become a positive thinking person, then even though that is a huge part of who you are, it doesn't feel as heavy.
Right. And I think, you know, us as the parents not putting so much focus on all of it either.
Yeah.
Helps, you know, when they're, you know, eating an extra plate for dinner, not like calling it out, or if they skipped breakfast or lunch or whatever, you know, not always calling it out. If it's obviously a trend, then yes, it needs to be addressed. But I just, sometimes there's so much focus on like a kid's weight or a kid's look, or, you know, I remember having a lot of pressure on like how I looked and what I was doing. And it just makes you almost more self-conscious about it.
Yeah. And I think focusing it on health versus appearance too can kind of help with that, because like I do about 10,000 steps a day, and I get in my like 4 miles that I do around the house. My daughter Anna, she was like, so why do you do that? I was like, it's just really healthy to get your body up and moving.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it to lose weight.
Right.
I'm doing it just because it's nice to make sure that your heart is healthy and all of those things.
And moving around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I explained to that to her, and she's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Coming at it at not a surface,
I want to lose weight.
Surface level like appearance.
Exactly.
Yeah. More is like, this is just good for your body. That's why like when Maverick is, so recently he's been going through an eating frenzy.
Okay.
And we just got past eating slowness. And so now he's eating a lot more. Like he will eat his whole plate of food and then be like, I'm starving. I need more. And
that's Ellie right now.
You know, I'm trying to just be like, okay, your body's hungry. You must be going through, you know, some kind of a growth spurt. So if you feel you need more food, then let's eat more food. You know, just listen to your body. And then I've noticed when I leave it up to him more, he tells me, like, you would think if you gave a kid, let's say a whole cookie. This happened the other day. I gave him a whole cookie. Did he probably need that cookie? No, because he had had like 2 cookies that day. But I gave him a whole cookie, and he had just had a whole dinner. Plus, like, I think he ended up having an apple after dinner. Like, this kid has been eating. Anyway, and so I gave him a whole cookie, and I was like, you probably don't need this, but whatever. So I gave it to him, and he ate like a quarter of it, and he was like, Mom, my tummy says I'm all done. And I said, okay, you don't have to eat the whole thing if you don't want it, you know. And I try to just be super lax on like, you know, you don't need to eat a certain amount because I say so. You know, it just needs to be, you need to eat until your body says that you don't need to, or it doesn't feel good, or, you know, stuff like that. Because
yeah, that's how we are too.
I don't want him to have this in his head. Like, we grew up with like the clean plate club.
Oh yeah, we don't do that.
We don't do that. You know, you don't need to be a part of that club unless you want to be, but you don't need to be.
You finish your food, cool. If you don't, we don't allow dessert unless you finish your dinner.
Right.
But other than that, you don't have to clean your plate.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've mentioned it on here. Like, you have to try everything.
Yep.
Once you've tried everything, you can have something else as long as it's within the realm of not dessert.
I'm not gonna be making you a 5-course meal if I already made one for the whole family. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I know you like shrimp Alfredo. I'm sorry, but you choosing not to have it today. Yeah, I am not making steaks.
Right. Like, yeah.
I already slaved. We're done.
Yeah.
Make yourself some chicken nuggets.
Yeah. But I think, yeah, like you said, just focusing on how you feel, what's healthy for you, and not how is it making you look? Because that'll come when they're adults.
Mm-hmm.
It'll happen when they're adults where they realize, oh, I like myself more when I have a tinted moisturizer on. I like myself more when I, wear these pants versus these pants. That will happen. But as kids, I just want my kids to be kids. Yes. I don't want them to have to grow up. And this world is trying to force our kids to just be adults at age 10 and 12. And it's just not okay with me.
Yeah. Be adults. Make adult decisions. Make whatever.
Look like an adult.
Literally.
Like, it's insane to me.
It's insane to me too. And it makes me sad because it's like, we just want them to be little.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why is it that I want them to just be little and grow up slowly, whereas the rest of the world is like, you must grow up now.
Right.
Like, why? Why is it so aggressive?
Like, they will have time for that. And I mean, do I want my 18, 19, 20-year-old to be like, oh, I'm still a little tiny kid, I don't have to do anything? No. But I think when up until like age 16-ish, when they learn how to drive, they get more independence, like, let them be kids.
Yeah. And it's okay for them to grow up slowly and to be interested in little kid things for longer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want my kid being 13 years old and being like, I'm done playing with Barbies because everybody says I should.
Right.
To be like, if you want to play with dolls, play with dolls.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be who you are and do what makes you comfortable and love yourself and the things that you love because you love it, not because somebody told you should.
Yeah, exactly.
That's got to be the biggest thing for me is listen to yourself and follow your own heart.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do what everybody else is doing just because you want to fit in, because I guarantee you once you're an adult and you've moved on from high school, from college, and you're living your life, everybody else isn't going to matter.
No. Yeah. Take everything into consideration. Maybe you will like something new, but that doesn't mean you have to change yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to call a wraps for this episode.
I like this topic.
Me too. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know down below if you agree with us. If you disagree, cool.
Love to hear it.
Yeah. And we'll catch you on all of our socials or whatever else. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.